Hello and welcome to the Pixel Peasants Podcast, a podcast where we talk about all the gaming-related news that's happened this week. With your hosts, Stanley and
Geordie.
And Geordie, nice. So,
well, we've got quite a few things we could discuss, but I think we should start with how you're doing, Stan, to be honest with you.
Oh, well, thank you, Geordie.
I know, I'm just checking up with my buddy, you know.
You know what, Geordie? I was going to go straight down to business, straight down to work, but you made time for the small things.
I feel like if we could skip the pleasantries, I feel quite bad about that, so I feel like I should ask you how you're doing.
If we skip the pleasantries, there's nothing pleasant, you know? Like, thank you. I've been good, thanks, Geordie. I've not really been doing much, just been working on some podcasts, not really been playing much recently.
No, I've not really been working much either, because I haven't seen you at work either.
Wow, that's really, it's going to call me out like that. Jesus.
Yeah, straight away.
Well, actually, Geordie, I have been working extra hours.
Yeah, I know. I was just teasing. I have seen you.
You don't see me because I'm outside doing the trolleys, you know, working a physically hard job.
I do feel bad for you about that.
We can't all relax at the fish, you know, and have an easy time, Geordie. No.
Yeah, that is true. So
no, that's probably a hard job.
Yeah, well, I guess can't really argue with that. But so you haven't really been playing anything this week, then?
The stuff that I've been playing is I played some Metal Gear Revengeance, which is like have you know the Metal Gear Platinum game where you play as Raiden?
I've heard about it. Isn't it like you can like cut off limbs and stuff?
Yes.
I don't know.
And it's one of the best video games in video game final bosses ever.
Because
right?
I feel like I could contest that a few times.
Listen, Joey, I gotta know because there's so many. Have you ever seen the final boss of Metal Gear Revengeance?
No, I haven't, but I will put it on the list because I've heard that game is really, really good.
No, you should definitely give it a work, and like anything, you can get like any PC to run it. It doesn't require a lot. But there we go.
My awful laptop will be of use.
It probably will. I was able to get it working on like a 4 GB laptop, so it's
I don't
pretty...
know. So I feel like I may struggle to load up Metal Gear Rising Revengeance, but
we'll see.
Try.
No, because like I wanted to know. There's tons of like Armstrong, like his name's Armstrong, the final boss.
Right. Yeah.
And there's a lot of memes about Armstrong that are appearing in Last of Us 2, and because I've never played Last of Us, I have no reference to what the hell these memes are.
Ah, yeah, you haven't played The Last of Us, have you? No, that's pretty bad. You should definitely play it.
I probably should.
We'll get together and play it if you want at some point when I've got a bit more free time.
I know you tried to get me to...
And obviously, once this whole
COVID-19... When it finally wears down, we can finally have more gaming sessions. So that'll
be... And that'll be pretty fun. We'll just we'll get a Dominoes. You know how much you love your Dominoes, and we'll play The Last... Or you'll play it, and I'll watch and give you expert guidance, because, obviously... Such a good game.
It feels like that's probably the game you shouldn't be guided on, right? Because it's like the experience.
I suppose, yeah. But I wouldn't necessarily guide you. I just sort of help you if you got stuck here and there, and warn you about certain.
Is that what you've been playing, Geordie? Or is it like a?
No, I haven't, because obviously we'll get to it a bit later. But obviously the whole situation with the leaks has sort of made me a bit, I don't know, because I was gonna play it, obviously, in preparation for game Last of Us Part 2 coming out. But yeah, we'll get to that in a bit. But
oh god, that doesn't sound good. I've seen bits of the leak.
Yeah,
I've heard rumblings.
It's definitely not the best. But
oh no,
I have been finished Persona 5 Royal, so I thought I'd give my opinion on that.
Oh, how is Persona 5 Royal?
You don't know much about Persona 5, do you? The original game.
I know Persona 5 Royal has like 20-30 minutes odd of new content, right?
that's a pretty accurate representation. You know how much I love the original one. I played it so many times. I played through it like 3 times. Ridiculous.
Yeah, and that's like a 100-hour game, right?
Yeah. But I'll be honest, I'm a bit disappointed by it, and I know that may come off a bit controversial, but it's it was a little bit disappointing because what they've essentially done is they've charged full price, 60 quid or 59.99 for the base game of Persona 5 and, I don't know, maybe 7 hours of new content in reality. I mean, people will say, oh, it was 15 hours here, or it's 20 hours. 7 hours after the main game is when the new content basically starts.
It's so weird hearing that, because like 7 hours on its own would usually be like a pretty decent DLC they could...
Which is why I'm not too annoyed about it, because that, you know...
But then when you compare it to the hundreds of hours you've already played, I guess that's the problem.
Exactly. There's the base game is pretty much... The story up to that point is pretty much unchanged. Yeah, they have this new character who's introduced, and she gets new scenes. But you can tell when it's a new scene, you're like, well, everything's the same, except for this one scene here, this one scene here. Do you know what I mean? So it comes across as a bit tacked on, personally. And I don't know. If I'd paid £15 as DLC for it, I think I'd be, yeah, this is really good, get it. But £60 for basically the same game again with 7 hours new content, I think. I don't know, because at the same time, you know, there's games, you know, we're talking about The Last of Us, that game was about 8 hours long.
Yeah, it's so weird. Like, it sounds like an exclusively RPG problem where you can say it only has 7 hours of new content. I can't think of any game.
Doesn't it?
Yeah, I can't think of any games I play where I go like, oh, this only had 7 hours of new content to the game.
But obviously, I'm looking at it as a perspective of someone that's already bought the original game.
Yeah,
and is now buying it, because it feels like I've just bought the same game again, for the most part.
Well,
I ended up skipping through most of the stuff that I'd already seen like 3 times.
It really honestly does sound like not really that enticing for people that have already played the game. But that's
for people that haven't.
People who haven't played it, it's great, right?
You've got the free time, which most people have, 100% buy it. Honestly.
Oh yeah, this is a great time to get into JRPGs. This might be the only time some people in their lives will have the time to get into JRPGs.
Yeah, exactly. What is it? This is the most time off work any of us are ever going to get until we retire.
Oh yeah.
Absolutely.
Hold this saving grace, because it's just work till death after this point.
Well, I mean, yeah, pretty much. I guess that's a really positive way of looking at it. So I appreciate that.
Well, you know, just trying to be realistic.
See, I completed it. You know, maybe I was a bit burnt out because obviously I had played it quite a few times before. So
I mean, like you've at least like put probably like 500 hours into that game.
Yeah, so I think my opinion is probably a bit skewed, because by the end of it, I was just sort of skipping through the stuff I'd already seen just to get to the new stuff. Because
it's weird though, right? Because the people probably buying this, you'd think, oh, it's people that are new to the franchise, but no, probably the people that want to see those 7 hours of extra scene are probably
people that have 5 times, absolutely.
Yeah, people that have played it 5 times.
I haven't played it 5 times. I've only played it 3 times. That's a bit better, isn't it?
There's weirder ones out there. Have you know DMC Devil May Cry?
Yes, the Devil May Cry game. Yeah,
but the one we don't talk about, even though the definitive edition is quite good.
We sort of pretend doesn't exist because it's absolute trash. Yeah, that one.
No, the definitive edition's good. I'll say this, right? And I was going to
Oh no, you've opened up a whole can of worms there. You should take that sentence back.
You know what? If people who dislike Devil May Cry, DMC Devil May Cry, want to comment down below, please do, because it helps the algorithm. Anything that makes you angry and want to comment hate at us, we need, so please do it. But
that is very, very true.
But do you know, the weirdest thing about that game is, for as great as it was, because it added a whole lot of new things, for some reason that I can't comprehend, they added like one 30-second scene to the game that they hyped up, and it was like, wait, if it's 30 seconds, it changed nothing about the game.
You may as well do it what everyone else does and search for it on YouTube.
Yeah, exactly.
It's kind of the same thing with Persona 5 Royal. Like, up the additional 7 hours on YouTube, watch a Let's Play of it or something, and you'd save yourself 60 quid, really.
Well, I mean, like, who's the evil character? I guess we're going to spoilers here. Spoiler warning: if you haven't played Persona 5, skip to the timestamp I have put here. But who's that evil character that got that you can have a social bond with now?
Ketchy.
Ketchy, right? Yeah.
Yeah. No, that was actually quite a cool injection into the game, and it's quite interesting. You actually get to learn a bit more about him. But that's kind of the crux of the new stuff. They focused on him and one new character, it kind of revolves around them. and it's kind of a redemption arc, but it's not. So they try and make him out to be not necessarily a good guy, but a guy that can help out the team. So if I can go into spoilers, basically what happens is Dr. Marakari, who is basically researching cognitive science. Don't know if you know anything about sort of.
Dude, the only thing I know about Persona is like a list of controversies I've heard from Reset Era.
Okay,
so just go.
Fair enough. So it's basically the idea that your cognition affects your reality, and his whole story is that he's looking for a way to make everyone happy by altering their cognition, by altering their reality. If it's making any sense to you.
To be fair, it sounds like something off of Naruto, where they tried to make the moon like a giant hypnodisc. Do they make the moon a giant hypnodisc in this?
Not quite. I guess maybe it's not accurate, but basically he awakens to his own persona, and his persona lets him alter people's cognition. So he by the end of the game, he's able to make everyone happy by making basically, in simple terms, a new reality.
But then the moral question arises: should one person have the power to force everyone to be happy? Ooh, is that
is exactly what the protagonist is thinking. What should this one guy have the power to do this? And they change his heart basically. And in this new reality, Dr. Marakari makes it's implied that he makes a cognitive version, like a fake version of Akechi, because Akechi prior to this had died. Actually, you know how in JRPGs they like to make the bad guy, redeem himself in the end. He was really a good guy sort of thing.
Oh, do they do that with Akechi?
Yeah, they try and do that, but they still believe that he's a bad guy, but they do sort of go into that whole redemption thing. So yeah, he brings back a fake version, and he teams up with Joker, and they basically put a stop to obviously Marakari's, altering of the cognition. It's just, it kind of feels tacked on, because prior to that, the story was already kind of basically before that, you basically fight God.
Oh, okay, that's neat.
Satan.
Well, that's all the Shin Megami Tensei games, isn't it?
Exactly.
Not even just Persona.
That's how they always end, so that's how this one ends. But then it doesn't end, because now you're facing off against this guy who's could kind of be seen as doing the right thing, but he's not.
Well, I'm going to say, like, Psychiatrist is a bit of a step down from God.
Yeah, it's just disappointing.
But
obviously, there's the new character Kasumi, who she's featured throughout the game, which is an improvement. Because in Persona 4 Golden, the new character they added was just kind of there on the side, whereas the new character Kasumi is actually integrated into the story a bit better. So that's positive.
Oh, nice.
But yeah, I just kind of felt it was a bit tacked on in the end.
Yeah, you should have gone with that Persona Warriors game that just came out instead.
Don't know, maybe not. I'll give that a minute.
It has its own story, Geordie. It's like a legit sequel.
Fair. Maybe I'll give it a look.
If you like the story, yeah. I know how you feel about the Warriors games.
I think they have their place, but
they're
I've
fun.
heard that the recent ones haven't been great.
Well, no, because I heard one of the new Dynasty Warriors, they just completely changed and
Everything.
Yeah.
There was a whole big controversy about it, wasn't?
Oh yeah. Yep, Jim Sterling. He's the one who really. Because I think Jim Sterling's the only gaming journalist that actually cares about Dynasty Warriors in any respect.
That's pretty much, with all due respect to Dynasty Warriors, that's pretty true. But
it's one of the, it's weird because it doesn't need 8. It's going to sound, I'm maybe going to make Dynasty Warrior fans angry here, but like, there's not really too much difference fundamentally between Dynasty Warriors and any of the sequels. There's no really.
I think they're all pretty similar, and I think, didn't Dynasty Warriors 8? I think it was Dynasty Warriors 9. I don't know how many there is. I get confused. But didn't they go open world?
I mean, it's always been open world. It's always been sort of open map. It wasn't really open world. It was like massive open maps, but there was there's nothing you can do on these maps. Yeah,
they're just barren, goat simulator levels of open world.
Yeah. I know.
mean, I've probably just annoyed a lot of people, but
you can do quite a bit in Goat Simulator. You know, there's like there's a lot of secrets.
Showed me that. Must admit, it's pretty fun.
Yeah, more fun than Dynasty Warriors 8 or 9 or whatever the one everyone hates was.
Yeah, maybe we should have looked up which one it is.
Yeah, maybe we should have actually done a bit of research on this topic before just talking about it.
We're not professionals, are we? We're basically just useless.
Yeah. Like, it's great. We can just talk about whatever and we can't be judged for it because we don't know what we're talking about anyway.
Yeah, well, we can be judged for it, but we can ignore the judgment.
Exactly.
Which is great, really. Power of social media and all that. But
well, it makes it hard to ignore now.
That is, I've rambled on a bit, but that's kind of what everyone else thinks.
Dude, your gaming weekend was so much more interesting than mine. Like I said, I just played some Metal Gear Revengeance. Like, it's just a fun game where you chop people up. There's not really much greater, deeper discussion about it.
What could you need from a game? Let's be honest.
Yeah, which is weird because it's a Metal Gear game. Arguably, there's like...
That is weird that it's a Metal Gear game.
Yeah.
When I first read about it, I thought it was like some copyright infringed Japanese rip-off game that had just completely neglected copyright and just made their own game because it's so different.
It's odd, isn't it? But you know what? Like, it's a fun game. It's great. And I played that first before I played any other Metal Gear game because that's just like my type of game.
Right now, fun games.
Yeah, we just need fun.
We just need fun. That's kind of the whole point, isn't it? Which I think brings us on quite nicely to...
Oh, well, that was smoothly done, Jordy. I was just about to say, talking about fun... Wait, what were you going to talk about?
Wait, what were you going to talk about?
I was going to say, talk about fun. Jordy, let's just completely destroy any, mention of it with the leaks. Is that what you were going to go on
to? Maybe.
Ooh.
No.
Oh, no, you weren't. What were you going to talk about?
No, we'll go with what you were going to talk about. We'll do my bit after.
No, you do your bit first, dude.
No, Stan. I've just done my bit. It's time for your time to shine. I give you the reign.
But even if we go on to this next bit, it will be your bit because I should not give a damn about The Last of Us.
Okay, maybe we'll save that for the end. I was going to go on to something that was less 5 and Battlefront 2. The announcements and statements by EA that they're no longer updating the games. No longer
updating Battlefront 2 and...
Battlefield 5.
Battlefield 5, oh.
Which, I mean, I could kind of expected it for Battlefield 5 because that game pretty much fell flat on its head as soon as it came out.
Well, I thought it did well sales-wise.
It did well sales-wise, but I think the community was like really, really adamant that this was not the Battlefield
that they wanted. Yeah.
Which I don't know. I mean, they're not the ones that made the game, so I feel like in some respect they have the people have a creative vision that they want to do, so they have the right to do it because they're the ones paying for it.
I don't think anyone would say they didn't have the right to do it. I think the argument more is just it's not a creative vision they wanted to see for the
exactly. That's it. They didn't want to go that way, so I think their fans are really quite justified in.
It was getting a little unrealistic, and as we all know, Battlefield has always been about realism, and has never had any unrealistic elements whatsoever.
Unrealistic warfights. I don't know what. But I think it had about 5 updates before that, major updates. So I feel like they did add some cool stuff. I played a few of the updates. I played Chapter 3 and the latest one a bit. And, it's pretty cool, but it's not really my cup of tea. I get pretty, in case anyone wanted to know, I get pretty upset with online games, is why I don't play them very often.
No, I think single player is the way to go. You don't have to talk to anyone. Exactly. You don't have to listen to some 12-year-old scream at you about how you're cheating.
Yeah, that's it.
I just want to play as a ninja cyborg and cut up people. That's all I need.
For a good 6 to 7 hours, and then I'm done. And I'm pretty content.
Battlefront 2, that's a bit devastating because we got a friend who plays that quite a bit.
We have got a friend who plays that quite a bit. He's not here. We'll get him here eventually, I think.
Oh, he said he's more than up for it. He's more than up for it.
It'll be utter chaos. Because you know how we get when it's 3 of us together.
Oh, yeah.
But that one also doesn't really come as a surprise, although I've heard that it did make a big comeback after the controversy, which I'm not going to talk about because I'm sure everyone knows exactly what happened. No one.
Yeah, the loot box controversy. And like Ben says, like the person we're talking about, he says that, you know, he loves that game. He constantly plays it. He platinumed it. And he said like it was way better after everything was done. But, you know, I don't know. Ben's a Star Wars shill. I don't know if I can trust him.
He is the Star Wars advice on that.
And even he didn't like Last Jedi. That just tells you.
That tells you quite. I don't know. Should we really get into that sort of? I feel like
wait, is Last Jedi episode 7 or episode 8?
Well, that'd be episode 8, mate. You're thinking episode 7 is The Force Awakens, isn't it? The one that we saw at the cinema.
Yeah, and what's episode 9?
Rise of Skywalker.
Oh, Rise of Skywalker. No, Last Jedi. Sorry, I have to take that back. Last Jedi is great. One of the best Star Wars movies. It's episode 9 that
you really enjoyed that one, didn't you?
Yeah, that one was great.
I personally enjoyed Force Awakens, the first one we saw, so episode 7.
Yeah, Force One's usually the most safe one to pick.
But in terms of updates, Star Wars Battlefront 2, everyone wanted Clone Wars stuff, and they got it. So I think I'm not shocked, but I am still a bit disappointed because I know that it was picking up steam.
Yeah, people really loved the clone stuff because if I'm correct, when Disney went into Star Wars, and I think they didn't really want to touch the clone era stuff. I think because it was symbolic of the prequels, and they didn't really want to remind people that the prequels existed. But you know, they've gone back to it now because like as bad as the prequel movies were, like the setting was cool. The setting was cool. The world was pretty cool, and you know, I actually quite enjoyed episode 3. So I think they definitely wanted to see stuff from that era, and they did deliver it. So what normally happens when a studio announces their kind of support is that they're probably focusing on the next Star Wars battle. Oh, do you think that's it? I was wondering if it might have something to do with COVID-19 affecting like what the staff can work on, but you think it's because they're working on a sequel? Well, they've announced that it's pretty much indefinitely stopping. Even after. So, yeah, you're right. Probably they are working on a sequel. That's my opinion anyway. And I think that's probably the best way to do it because they've obviously let's just call them mistakes. So I think this time they'll do a better job, I hope. Well, it's amazing they didn't lose the license. Yeah, it is incredible, but I'm sure they've made a ton of money on that game, so that's probably why they've still got that. Oh yeah, I think even the script. Yeah, didn't the script writer for Rogue One say it's amazing that they've not lost the license? Yeah, it's pretty incredible. Kind of funny because they made 2 or 3 games in the 5-6 years they had that product. One of the most well-known products of our of all generations, and they did near nothing with it for a long while. And every single time they've done something, except for Fallen Order, that was pretty good. Fallen Order was worked on by the guys that did Titanfall. Yeah, Titanfall 1 and 2, and Apex Legends, is it called? Apex Legends, yeah. How long do you think it is before they had finally devolved? Just shut down and just accumulated into EA completely? I don't know. I feel like that probably already happened. Well, they do it with everyone. It's only a matter of time till BioWare finally meets its end. That Anthem was an utter disaster. I think you're right. But I think Star Wars is a different level. Oh yeah, that's Star Wars. Well, I mean, I reckon probably the team that did. I thought you were going to say no, Jordy. Anthem is this big, huge. Star Wars means nothing. Did you not watch the sequel films and everything? It's ruined. But, I mean, to be fair, if you count the number of good movies to bad movies, in ratio with Star Wars, there's more bad ones than there are good ones. I mean, that is true. That is true. But the original 3 were all pretty good. So yeah, they're pretty decent. Yeah, I think I wouldn't try and argue Titanfall's better. So that's probably why they've still got a license. Think how many kids have bought Star Wars Battlefront 2 and they just get to be a stormtrooper or get to be a rebel. I just think it's such a shame. If you have open license, then you can produce as many games as you need, and then you can have tons of different genres. All I've wanted all my life was a Force Unleashed 3 made by Platinum Games. Nothing will ever beat that opening of Force Unleashed 1. Oh, well, you just play as Darth Vader and you're just like force pushing. It's such a shame you can't.
Spoilers for The Force Unleashed. You haven't played the 16-year-old game or however old it is.
Do you know what? That is actually a game I have been playing recently. I bought both Force Unleashed 1 and 2 just to give a good comparison.
The second one, because I only played the first one. You know this. You always tell me I should play the second. The second? I played the second one's not as good.
I'm going to be honest. I think 1 has way more content. That's why people like 1 more. 2 actually has some elements of it I would argue are better than 1. But if I'm going to be honest, that 1 has just so much more content and DLC to it that it just sort of makes 2 pale in comparison. But like 2 is not as bad as people say it is. I don't think. I think it has some decent elements to it.
Yeah, that's fair. I think I heard some people were a bit upset with how the story turned out.
There's a weird.
We say that a lot with Star Wars, don't we?
Yeah, that seems to be a recurring theme actually. Now that you mention it.
I wonder.
Any more news?
Any more news? Well, I mean, obviously you've got some Nintendo news that you so greatly want to talk about because you are the Nintendo guy.
Oh yeah, I didn't say I was a Nintendo guy.
Well, you are because, I suppose Ben is kind of as well.
Yeah, Ben actually has a Switch. I don't have one, so I borrow my brother's.
You just use your brother's because you're a little tight guy, aren't you?
Why am I tight? They both have one. What a waste it would be to buy 3 Switches in a single household. I personally think we should have just shared one between us all. It seems like a waste. Anyway, what I was going to say is Nintendo has just recently revealed that it plans to have no big direct for July, and by the looks of it, June, and by the looks of it, the earliest that we will be getting any sort of massive big direct will be at the end of summer, because COVID-19 has seriously affected their ability to produce games.
Yeah.
Now, the question is, why is this? That
is a really valid question, Stan. Why? How dare you ask me such a difficult question? What is this?
Well, Geordie, I feel like I might have the answers if you may.
So it was a rhetorical question.
It was a rhetorical question, yeah, because I was just going to give you the answer.
You asked a rhetorical question. My goodness.
It's almost as if I wouldn't have asked that question in a single statement for an opening unless I had answers to it. Like, it wouldn't be a very interesting podcast section if I just go, so why is this? Well, I don't know. Anyway, on to the next point. Yeah.
Well, on to the next point.
Oh, tough luck. Deal with it.
Tough luck. Deal with it. You're not getting an answer. No, carry on. Sorry.
You're getting an answer or a direct.
Well, no, we're not getting both now.
Yeah.
Wow, what a day to be alive.
Why is it? Well, there's 2 reasons. One, and this is what Nintendo have claimed, is that they need more time to produce first-party games. That's what they've told all their third-party publishers, that, listen, we don't have... And
presumably share.
Well, the thing is, they've got a shareholder meeting coming up, Geordie. So we'll actually find out.
We'll actually find out.
Yeah, around next week, we'll find out, what their plans are going forward. But Nintendo claim that they need more time to make first-party content. And I think another reason it could be that they're taking so long is, I think the Wall Street Journal has an article on this that I will link below, is that Japan just, doesn't have the modern Wi-Fi architecture to be able to do jobs at home, which really surprised me. Japan's a very traditional. Japan's a very traditional country. In a lot of areas, they don't have cloud. A lot of companies don't even use, I've heard, apparently cloud. They don't use cloud to save things and to use on different computers. They still use faxing a lot.
Dude, that is crazy. It's mad to think that a whole different world over there, isn't it?
Well, yeah, I was a little surprised even though, because I would have just thought the practicality of cloud would just override because even if you look at, they like to be traditional and to fax, faxing only came about I'm not even going to try and claim I know when faxing came about.
Yeah,
I don't know anything.
Someone will correct you if you say anything. So maybe just say a while ago.
A while ago, yeah. But like, still, it's not like they're the Edo period of Japan. Samurais were known to fax out their invitations to samurai duels to each other. Like,
this is true.
Even then, like, it feels weird that they're still quite traditional. They still use faxing. That still sounds like a weird one to me. Like, faxing doesn't sound too traditional.
That's mad, but that's pretty sad that they're not going to do anything because there's always great Nintendo news, and obviously for Sony's state of play, you can't really get much good stuff coming up.
Well, even Sony doesn't have new content really, because Microsoft was firing off at them on Twitter saying, "Oh, we're going to announce new gameplay shown on our Xbox One." Because we all know not Xbox One. What's it called? Xbox Scarlet.
Xbox Scarlet, yeah.
Yeah, and then it's like, well, take a look at this. We got new games. Just sort of like throwing it at Nintendo, showing, look at this. I think it was more aimed at PlayStation than Nintendo.
It's called Xbox Scarlet. It's called Xbox Next, isn't it?
Yeah, dude, I don't give a damn.
I don't care either because it.
Why would you even buy an Xbox? Just get a gaming PC. Literally, you have like Xbox games you could just buy on Microsoft PC anyway. So like,
what's the point? But obviously, I mean, I've got my PlayStation. Main reason I've got a PlayStation first before a gaming PC because a lot of like the JRPGs don't release. They release first on PlayStation because
this is literally trying to justify his position. Oh, please, PC Master Race. I understand. I have a PlayStation. I feel bad for it. You're so much better than me. Oh, now just say it, dude. You bought a PlayStation because you bought a PlayStation. I
wanted to play my JRPGs.
Exactly. You just wanted to play. You want to play games. You want to spend like 200 hours of research finding out what like has the best GPU.
This is true. I am considering buying a gaming PC. I'll probably just buy one pre-built, to be honest.
I'm a bit annoyed because I wanted to upgrade my laptop, but like, so I said, I'll get an external graphics card. But the amount of money it buys to get the external graphics card, not even the graphics card alone, you might as well be buying a new gaming PC. Exactly. It's so annoying.
It's really frustrating.
If I had a slightly better graphics card, I could play modern games, but I can't. So I need to play Metal Gear Revenge.
You've got to be careful because it's not necessarily just about how good your graphics card is or how good your processor is. It's about having a good balance, really.
Well, I've got everything but the graphics card. That's the annoying thing. And I can't change it because it's a laptop. So like,
yeah, that's true. You have to buy an external one, wouldn't you?
That's what I mean. And the external graphics cards, like, you might as well be buying a new gaming PC, but the cost they throw out is ridiculous. You may as well just buy yourself
a good gaming.
But I will say this, I am devastated by this Nintendo news because I've been waiting 2 years for Bayonetta information. 2.5 years.
Here we go. I wondered how long it was going to take you to bring this up.
Why else?
Everyone, Stan has a really weird obsession with Bayonetta, like freakishly weird.
It's not freakishly weird.
No, but he has a problem, right? And yeah, he's been waiting about 3 years.
Why am I being attacked like this?
Because this is
just really rude and mean out of nowhere. Having a good time. You came up starting the podcast asking how I was. I thought we were going to have clear sailing here. I wasn't ready for the savagery. I wasn't ready for the 2-on-1 that Ben was going to bring. But now you have to do this to me.
No, I'm sorry, Stan. Please, I know that you're quite devastated about it.
I enjoy Bayonetta because it's a good game. It's a fun game. There's some good combos in it. You know, I just want to see what Bayonetta 3 is because they've been hyping up saying, oh, this is going to change gaming. And I'm like, whoa, what's it going to do? And it's like,
it's not going to be as good as Astral Chain, let's be honest.
Oh, you know what? I don't know. Astral Chain was like a new favourite of mine. Astral Chain is so good.
So good. It's a little bit finicky trying to control the astrals when you get more, that bit is a bit... But
I didn't have a problem with that, actually.
Oh, mate, I don't know. I just did. Maybe it's because I'm really bad at these kind of games.
Yeah, maybe it's because you suck, yeah.
Maybe it is just because I suck and I play JRPGs where all you have to do is press X and triangle, but if I don't know, maybe that's why.
Well, I mean...
that game was good.
I was going to say, like, Astral Chain isn't really the same as Bayonetta, so I can't really... it has similar themes, right? But the whole thing about Astral Chain is you are sort of... I don't want to say it's a strategy game, but it kind of is. With Bayonetta, there's some elements of strategy to it, but you can just go in and you can just
guns blazing, mash the buttons. Well, not mash the buttons to win, but...
No, don't you dare say that, because you've tried implying that multiple times about Bayonetta and Devil May Cry, and that's like filthy heathen speak. Don't ever say that.
Well, I just did. What are you going to do about it?
Well, you're off the podcast. I
don't want to answer that question because... I know what to do, but
no, but like Astral Chain is great because it's like it's I want to play Astral Chain again. Thanks for reminding me of that, Jordy. I haven't completed that yet, so I'm going to play it again. It's like there's more elements of strategy to it because you have to think what the cooldown is on certain abilities, what person
really
you should switch to is best.
And honestly, I liked the investigating parts as well, where you like go around and investigate and try and find, the different, what are they called? Rift?
Chimera, the rifts, the Chimera. Yeah, and the one thing I appreciate about that game more than anything is once you get a platinum on something, or you get like the S rank on something, you don't have to go back on a replay and do it.
No,
that saves the S rank. Oh,
I personally really consider that. You know how little I care about stuff, but
okay. As someone who does care about ranking, it's a godsend.
As someone that really cares about this important little minute detail. Dude,
listen. Do you know how many times I've gone back on Bayonetta 1 or 2 and like, oh, I'm gonna go and get the platinum, and then I do perfectly, but there's like one stupid section where I'm on a motorbike or a horse that I don't do perfectly, and it's like, well, now you can't have the platinum. It's like, well, but I've just been playing. Why am I being ranked on horse riding? I've never.
Yeah. And the bike bits in Astral Chain, they were cool.
No, the bike bits were great. Yeah. It's too bad there's only 2 sections in the whole game with them.
I was going to say, when the game started, I was like, am I playing? What am I playing? And then I was like, oh, this is sick. And then it only happened like 2 other times.
So annoying. I mean, but mind you, though, I actually preferred on the ground on more than I did the bike sections, so I can't complain.
No, yeah, but it was just like, it was a cool little thing to change up, I suppose, wasn't it?
Oh, yeah, but like I said, it would have been cooler if it had been more than 2 times.
That game was really good, and the soundtrack was so good.
Oh, the soundtrack's amazing.
When you're in the base, that music in the base. I just stood in the base, in the home base for headquarters for ages, just listening to that music.
Oh, yeah, it's nice. Everything about that game was, I would say, perfect, and should have won Game of the Year.
You're even more upset about them not having Bayonetta 3 stuff.
Listen. I want Bayonetta 3 information more than anything gaming related. I don't care. I literally don't care about anything else at the moment. I feel
like you're getting a really, really quite confrontational about this, Danny. Not my fault.
It's not. Look, I'm not saying it's your fault, Geordie. I'm just saying, like, when you start talking about The Last of Us 2 and like the spoilers there, I'm gonna say, well, can who's the main character called?
Okay, I'm gonna just stop this right now.
Yeah, who's she called? Well, she doesn't matter, does it? Because she can't jump cancel, can she?
Listen, it's Ellie, and shut up.
Look, what's Ellie's style ranking?
No, but
it's not. Is it SSS? No, she's on a constant D. No. She has to stealth around. She's not doing anything cool.
She has to stealth around.
Yeah. How's her dodge offset game?
She's on a constant E.
Yeah, a constant E.
Yeah.
An F. A U. Ungradable.
I've never seen that in a game. U.
Oh, I'm just gonna sneak around and just hit this person on the head with a brick. Well,
personally,
maybe
I didn't do that. Personally, what I did is I just went guns blazing.
I think that's like how you're not supposed to play the game, though.
That is how you're not supposed to play the game, but it's more fun that way. Because, like you said, it's really boring to just stealth around, throw bricks everywhere. It's just that's boring. I've got a shotgun. I'm going to use it.
You're criticizing one of the most loved elements of that game.
No, there are people out there that think that The Last of Us 2, in terms of gameplay, wasn't the strongest.
You mean Last of Us 1, right?
Sorry, Last of Us 1. Yeah, right. Sorry.
But speaking of Last of Us 2, Geordie, you've got a bit of information.
So, yeah, I'm pretty sure everyone knows this by now, but they recorded and leaked a bunch of videos online and put them on YouTube.
It was because
pretty much the entire story being revealed and spoiled. Well, I mean, we don't know for certain that it's the entire story. Maybe things have changed.
Well, from what I understand, it wasn't the entirety of the story, but there was one scene in particular. Everyone was like, "Oh my god!"
Yeah,
I didn't need to see that.
Basically, how it was leaked. Obviously, 4chan.
Okay, but like,
was proven to be not
true. Okay, yeah, because I was going to say there was the 4chan leaks, which I'd heard about.
But the videos that were leaked online seem to be pretty accurate, and people aren't happy about it. I mean, some people aren't happy about it. Some people are, obviously. Some people don't want to know, which is fair enough.
Yeah. Were you one of those people, Geordie?
I was one of those people until I accidentally stumbled upon the YouTube comment section and someone ruined the entire...
Oh, no.
So after that, I just thought, well, might as well just watch the videos, and I did.
Listen, I'm not up for the death penalty. I think it's barbaric. But if someone was going to make the argument that people that spoil things on the YouTube comment section should be put onto it, I feel like there'd be a strong argument for it.
I think so too.
I'd compromise on my position in that instance.
Just for that one instance. And after that, we'd go back to how we were. But I'm personally a little bit disappointed.
Dude, I'm super scared, right? Because going on to the information we have on the leak. Every time I look it up, I see like the rainbow flag, right?
Yeah.
And here's what I'm thinking. It's like, is this leak actually bad? Or is this the same 4chan losers complaining that there's a gay character in it? Because part of me's thinking it's more of the second one, because it's always the same every time I hear information about The Last of Us 2.
Yeah, that is true. I think for me and others, there is obviously there are people that hate this because of the fact that there is a gay character.
And Geordie is, of course, one of those people.
Well, way to paint me as one of those people, Stan, but no, actually, I don't think that's I have a problem with.
Geordie's just not brave enough to come public. He's not out of the hate closet.
Not yet. No, I think the problem people have is that their writing is just abysmal. We can say this, but we've only had 30 minutes of cutscenes. We don't know how awful the writing is, but judging from what's been leaked, I think the plot of this game is, to be honest, utterly ridiculous.
So let's go on more about what it is, and we're going on to spoilers here.
Yeah.
So if you don't want to listen to this, well, first of all, congratulations for listening to the podcast as long as you have.
Yeah, if you've made it this far, thank you. You're going to help us immensely in the future.
You're a trooper. But if not, little spoiler tag here, because we will be talking about the spoilers. So, Geordie, okay, wait, let's give them 3 seconds. Give you 3 seconds to turn off. 3, 2, 1. Okay, Geordie, what's wrong with this spoiler? What's wrong with this leak? Dude, I'm super scared, right? Because going on to the information we have on the leak. Every time I look it up, I see like the rainbow flag, right?
Yeah.
And here's what I'm thinking. It's like, is this leak actually bad? Or is this the same 4chan losers complaining that there's a gay character in it? Because part of me's thinking it's more of the second one, because it's always the same every time I hear information about The Last of Us 2.
Yeah, that is true. I think for me and others, there is obviously there are people that hate this because of the fact that there is a gay character.
And Geordie is, of course, one of those people.
Well, way to paint me as one of those people, Stan, but no, actually, I don't think that's I have a problem with.
Geordie's just not brave enough to come public. He's not out of the hate closet.
Not yet. No, I think the problem people have is that their writing is just abysmal. We can say this, but we've only had 30 minutes of cutscenes. We don't know how awful the writing is, but judging from what's been leaked, I think the plot of this game is, to be honest, utterly ridiculous. So let's
go on more about what it is, and we're going on to spoilers here.
Yeah.
So if you don't want to listen to this, well, first of all, congratulations for listening to the podcast as long as you have.
Yeah, if you've made it this far, thank you. You're going to help us immensely in the future. You're
a trooper. But if not, little spoiler tag here, because we will be talking about the spoilers. So, Geordie, okay, wait, let's give them 3 seconds. Give you 3 seconds to turn off. 3, 2, 1. Okay, Geordie, what's wrong with this spoiler? What's wrong with this leak?
2 things. One thing being the sort of writing that the dialogue that's happening in these cutscenes. People are calling it amateurish. People are calling it sluggish. People are saying it feels like fan fiction. Basically, there is a character in this game that played by a transgender. People have rumored that the character is transgender. I don't know if that's true. But this character of someone Joel killed in the first game whilst he was rescuing Ellie from the Fireflies, who were obviously conducting the experiments to try and cure the virus that infects everyone. And he kills her parent, or her mum, or her dad, and this child is out for revenge against Joel, and her sole purpose is to kill Joel and get revenge because of what he did. The character is out for revenge and wants to kill Joel, and that's obviously not the only thing that's going on. Obviously, Ellie is, basically the crux of the story is the things that people gets his head bashed in by this new character, the daughter of the guy he killed in the first game. He gets his head bashed in as Ellie is helpless, and a lot of people are upset that Joel got killed this way because they feel like the character is central to The Last of Us, and him getting killed off 30% of the way through the game is ridiculous. And it kind of betrays the themes of the first game, which is that Joel or supposedly selfishly saved Ellie. Obviously, if you read into the game, he thinks the Fireflies are basically full of rubbish and they're gonna fail because they've already failed 22 times in the past. But people are upset because their favorite character is killed off in such an amateurish way, with a plot point that is, to be honest with you, something you see in fan fiction.
Okay, I'm gonna say this. I don't think that this, of all the stuff you've told me, I don't think there's anything super egregious there, right? Like, I really think it's easy to look at the plot points of something, not look at how the actual scene is done. I mean,
exactly,
have you actually seen the leaked clips?
I have seen the leaked clips, yeah.
Oh, okay. So, how is it? Is it done in a way to your liking, or is it?
No, it's, to be honest with you, the dialogue is just absolutely atrocious compared to the first game. Just the things that are said. I mean, there's this character Jesse, and his entire plot point is that he gets cucked. And Ellie and the other lesbian character, who's also in a relationship with Jesse, is basically.
She's bisexual then, right?
Well, yeah, but at the same time, Jesse's pretty much from these scenes is just there to sort of be cut and there for the part of a joke.
Is it a joke, or is there going to actually be some drama?
This is the thing, we don't know.
Okay.
And the other thing that people are annoyed about is that after this new character kills Joel, you do not play as Ellie.
That was the thing that interested me the most. No, you play as the character who's trying to get revenge.
Yeah.
Right?
You play as the character for 60% of the game who's trying to kill Ellie. And Ellie is trying to kill her and get revenge, obviously, because she killed Joel. And that's why I think that is the key thing that people are upset about. Why are they playing a Last of Us game and they're not playing as Ellie or Joel?
That's a very interesting route to take the game, though.
Basically, people will think that it's just a twist for a twist's sake. It's pointless. They're just doing it for a shock factor.
I don't know, because part of me, like, this is your sins past catching up with you, right?
Yeah, in a sense, I guess that is a very good way of looking at it. But if you're playing a Last of Us game, you want to play as Ellie or Joel, don't you?
Well, I mean, I wouldn't really be too against there being new character. Like I said, I don't have any connection to this series, so I just don't.
Play as the guy that killed. How do you motivate yourself as a player if you're playing as the guy, or the lady in this case, who killed the guy you were playing as?
I don't know. That sounds like a really interesting experience, though, because obviously you're going to hate this character, right? And if The Last of Us,
most people are going to hate this character. There's people out there that think Joel is a bad guy, and he is a bad guy. He did some bad things, but he's just a victim of the world that he's in.
But I think playing as a character that you hate can be very interesting, because I think for the sake of video game, like Last of Us isn't there for the gameplay. It's for the emotional story, right?
Exactly.
And I think that there's a lot of feelings you can get a player to express by making them play a character that that they don't like. And also, I would also point out the reason that they don't like this character is going to probably, I would imagine this is where they're going to go with the story. It's going to say, well, you're hypocritical because the thing that motivates this character is exactly the same thing that motivated Joel. Yeah. Well, actually, Joel wasn't really motivated by revenge, from what I understand.
No, he was motivated to save Ellie.
Yeah, but Ellie's going to be motivated by revenge. So I guess then it's going to be like, the infinite cycle of revenge.
Yeah, I think that's what. Yeah, that is the way the story's going. And I think a lot of people are just sort of a bit tired, and I think that in terms of themes of The Last of Us, it goes really heavily against the story. The story is that, Joel is trying to make a selfish choice at the end of the day to save Ellie from potentially curing virus.
Well, that's what I mean. Did his selfish choice lead to the death of that person's child?
I guess, yeah.
So then in that case, I think what's trying to be shown here is how hypocritical ultimately Joel's actions are, or at least his actions aren't without consequences. I think probably what they're going to go, from what I sound, is like, was this character really any different than
Joel? I guess,
yeah.
But that's at the same time, I think people are a bit upset that for most of the game they're not Joel,
not playing as Joel Ellie. Yeah, it's a very interesting choice. It's a very interesting choice.
Could they not switch between the two? Switch between the villain and switch between Ellie? Like, maybe they do that. I don't know because I don't know the whole game.
Yeah. So maybe that does have... I don't know. Hold on a second. Yeah, no, maybe that does... I don't know, dude. That's a weird one.
Yeah, it's a weird one, and I think people are blowing it out of proportion because essentially it's 30 minutes of gameplay.
Oh, so it's not the whole...
No, as opposed to what is probably a solid 10-hour game.
I think the problem is I heard Joel gets it rough.
Yeah, I've heard they do supposedly do his character very dirty and sort of tarnish the good writing of the first game in regards to how his character's handled.
Oh, I've not heard anything about that, but what I heard is that, like, it's brutal the way he goes.
Yeah. From what I've seen, it's very brutal, and some people were a bit upset that the character that is just taken out halfway through, not even halfway through. Because for a lot of people, the reason people are playing The Last of Us is for Joel and Ellie's relationship, isn't it? That's what made the first games.
Yeah. Well, I remember a lot of people were complaining that we didn't really see Joel in a lot of promotional material before this.
Yeah, which is probably the reason for that is because he's probably not featured much in the game.
Damn.
I think some people are a bit tired of this whole game. It's not about the old guy. It's about these new cool characters. This girl here and this transgender here. We don't know.
Okay.
So now, this is not my opinion. This is just what I've seen online.
No, and this is where I sort of start having problems with those arguments. And this is where I see the people complain about it. Like, it's really inconsequential whether the character was trans or not.
It's really inconsequential whether the character is lesbian or whatever. That doesn't matter. Yeah,
but what I see is like, oh, typical Naughty Dog trying to push the LGBT agenda, and like this is what very quickly makes me turn away any sympathies for people who have problems with this plot. If you have problems with the plot because you don't like the sounds of it, that's fair enough. But if you're like, I don't know, every time I see discourse about The Last of Us 2, it has something to do with LGBT representation or something of that matter.
Yeah,
and it's like
kind of getting a little bit out of control.
Which, to me,
at the same time, I can see some points because what the footage has made is made Joel, coincidentally, male characters, and this is just from what I've seen. They've made them appear weaker, and they have become sidelined for 3 female characters, and then the male representation is kind of 30 minutes. The males are kind of made to seem very, Joel especially is made to seem very,
inconsequential.
Like,
And I would make the argument, like,
and he gets his head bashed in, 10-20% through the game.
I would make, like I said, it really depends how that scene is done. But
Exactly.
I would make the argument that I don't really care if there's more female representation or whatever. No,
yeah, that's just it. As long as it's a good game, it's a good game. That's my final opinion on it, to be honest.
Yeah, I don't know. It's
a really touchy subject for a lot of people.
I know, but it really shouldn't be. Like, if the argument is that why is there so much female representation in this game, or representation of LGBT people, it's like, who cares? Like, if you want representation of, like, just, I don't know, just like, let's say it, like a straight character who, is like a guy, then you have a fountain of games to pick from.
Exactly.
Yeah. No, and I really want to make this clear. I'm not like, if you wanted to see more of Joel, I think that's a very valid criticism if he does die 30% through this game. I'm not saying like that. If you wanted to see more of the characters you loved from before and they're not getting enough of it, like, that's a completely valid argument. All I'm saying is I don't know, I see a lot of these people complaining about things that I don't know if I can agree with.
No, that's just the internet for you, though. I think my main issues is that, from what I've seen, Joel is not featured.
Yeah.
Because most people knew that he was going to die. It was kind of, people knew that he was going to eventually. That's kind of what was built up, isn't it?
Jesus Christ, it's a good thing we didn't let Ben on this podcast.
Yeah, it is.
I just realised.
We would have ruined the entire game for him. It would have been bloody hilarious.
You know what? That would have been a good podcast. Watch as we ruin. He'd never talk to us again. That would actually end the friendship there and then.
It would end the friendship, so maybe we don't.
Maybe we don't do that
podcast. But
do you know though? If you had the title, we ruin Last of Us 2 for our best friend. That's a good podcast name.
That is true. That is a good podcast name.
That gets in attention.
Should we add Ben to the call now and ruin The Last of Us for him, just so we can get a few more clicks?
Dude, wouldn't it be funny if we got our friend to cry on a podcast? That's so funny, dude.
I did cry a bit when I saw the spoilers. So.
Oh yeah, no, I feel bad for you, man. That's, like I said, anyone
I didn't want to see them. I just wanted to play the game.
You can still do that. It's just now with a significantly ruined experience.
Exactly. So anyway, we're not going to talk about that anymore. I think spoilers have stopped now. We can move on to
it. You're free. You're free now. Don't worry.
Free from spoilers. Don't worry. We are not going to talk about any of that. And we've got presumably one more thing to talk about, which I hope Stan has found. Okay,
I've got two more things to talk about, but there's just one more thing. Back into the spoiler pod. I really want to know your opinion on this, because Final Fantasy VII came out. Right?
Of course, yeah. I finished that not too long ago.
Potentially spoilers here, so be careful. Again, we're going potentially spoiler territory. Is it a spoiler to say Aerith dies in the original Final Fantasy VII anymore?
I feel like it is, but it's not, because that game is really old, and if you haven't played that game right now, you should first play it. Secondly, stop living under a rock.
No, but I feel like anyone who knows anything about Final Fantasy VII knows Aerith dies.
Knows that Aerith dies, of course.
I don't know half the cast, and I don't know anything about the game, and I know Aerith dies.
Basically, the way I feel about this Final Fantasy VII remake, we're going to go into spoilers.
Oh, let's talk about FF7. Yeah, that's okay. There we go. That's another hour of the podcast.
Basically, the entire plot was an in-canon way of them getting an excuse to change Aerith's death.
You think so?
I think so. When they tease it and she's not going to die, and the reason she's not going to die, Sephiroth knows that if he kills her, he's not going to win in the end.
I don't know nearly enough about the plot to understand why that makes sense.
Well, I mean, to be fair, him killing Aerith is actually essential, so maybe that is essential in a way, but maybe because these demon things, ghost things, are no longer around, things can change, and they're just making an in-universe explanation as to why things change.
Right, okay. Maybe, like... I don't know. I feel that's a very interesting route to take the game. I wasn't expecting it.
It's a good idea because, I mean, why not do new things in a new game?
Everyone really wanted to see parts of, like, the 3 other discs remade, though. And now it's questionable if we'll get that.
I think we'll get it, but not entirely one-to-one. I think there'll be so many differences. I think they're going to just go in a completely new direction with it.
Should be interesting to see. And what did you think about your playthrough of Final Fantasy VII in general?
I absolutely had a fantastic time with it. Honestly, I thoroughly enjoyed it. Tifa is the best one to play as. There's some problems.
Everyone says Tifa. Everyone.
Yep, there's some problems. It's very linear, very, very similar to Final Fantasy 13 in the respect of how linear it is, and we know how controversial that one is. Yeah,
I mean, to be fair though, isn't the original Final Fantasy VII, except I know there are bits that get quite open, but isn't it just itself quite linear? Like the dungeons are.
Most Final Fantasy games are fairly linear. They have open areas, not to Final Fantasy 13 levels, but they're not open world, I suppose to say, except for 15, which that's left out of the discussion, really.
Is it left out of discussion? I've heard good things. I've heard bad things. I've heard mixed things.
It's a bad good game, basically.
A bad good game.
Anyway, that's the best way I could describe it.
It's a bad good. Oh man. What description?
Necessarily good. But yeah, I really like this game. It's so cool to play it and experience all the events again.
Yeah.
The voice acting is fantastic.
Would I enjoy it as someone who has not played Final Fantasy VII?
You would.
Because the whole plot twist at the end sort of sounds like it relies on the fact that
that is true. So maybe, but I still think you can enjoy the game. It's so much fun to play. There's some tedious fetch quests that kind of you can just ignore. You're 20 hours, I think.
Because the combat looked fun.
It is, and it's visually crazy as well. Like the visuals are insane.
It's kind of what I wanted Final Fantasy 15 to be when it comes to combat.
Yeah, that's how I'm thinking. Like, do you remember when Final Fantasy 15 was first announced as Versus 13?
Yes.
That's what I want its Final Fantasy 15 to be, and this one, it has some similarities.
Well, I wouldn't worry too much, dude, because it honestly does look like that Nomura is going to make Final Fantasy Versus 13. Okay, God, we've gone into a lot of spoilers. Dude. You've seen the ending of Kingdom Hearts 3?
Of course I have.
Yeah, I mean, it's just Nomura going, why didn't you let me make it?
That's pretty much it. But maybe we should stop talking about the spoilers for this stuff.
Let's end with a nice non-spoiler topic.
Exactly. So anyone who doesn't want to come to be spoiled on these games, you can now continue to listen to this part of the podcast.
Yeah, that other time was a lie. Now is the real time you can listen.
Now is the real time that you can stop listening. We will just treat...
I mean, or you could have just stopped listening
5 seconds into it because we're completely incompetent and have no idea what we're doing.
Oh, yeah. Nice.
Oh, yeah. That's pretty much it.
Yeah.
We're pretty mediocre at this stuff, let's be honest.
Nah. I'll probably edit this bit out because I can't be showing complimenting you. But, I actually think this has been going pretty well. You flow quite nicely in the podcast.
So what is the final thing that you have to talk about before we end this first episode?
So, 160,000 Nintendo accounts were hacked into and sold.
Really?
Yeah, 160,000.
That many? I heard about it, but I didn't realize it was that many. That's a lot.
Yeah, Nintendo says that at least 160,000 Switch user accounts more have been hacked. Here's how to... I don't know about this.
I think I need to check my Switch.
You know what? I actually haven't checked my account, so I don't know.
Check my account, actually. I mean, there's many Switches out there, so I feel like I would have noticed in my bank account if I was...
Yeah. That's odd.
I didn't. £3,000 on Super Mario Odyssey. Cosmetic.
Damn. What's this? 300 on Galga. Oh no, actually that sounds right.
Oh, I don't know. That was actually me. Hey! Don't knock it till you try it. I'm not going to get into that.
I've actually heard good things about it. Unironically,
it's so funny. It's everyone's watched Game Grumps.
Oh yeah, that's why you played it, Geordie, because it's funny.
Yes, because it's funny.
Yeah, it's the only reason.
About the reasons why we play these games.
Was that like a Bayonetta slight at me?
Nintendo game hacked.
Yeah, Nintendo getting hacked, yes.
So what have they done to solve the situation? Have they, I assume all these people affected have obviously contacted their credit card companies and disabled their cards and such. What are they doing?
Let's have a look. Nintendo hack, leaving users' sensitive information compromised. A recent hack to Nintendo rendered their users with compromised accounts, and with the former leaving users with unauthorized purchases. So, yeah, people are going to...
That's the thing, because Nintendo has a really weird refund policy.
Oh, does it? What's their refund policy? Because I've not.
Well, because of like government laws and stuff, the companies have to provide a refund if you purchase something digitally and don't use it. So, for example, you get a game and you don't download it or use it, you can get a refund.
Nice.
And that's law. But the Nintendo, they found a way around it, and as you purchase something digitally, you click a thing that says, "I confirm, I lose my right
to get a refund."
So you have to agree to that before you purchase.
Okay, but what if I lost my account that was hacked?
This is it. That's what I'm curious about.
My PayPal. Yeah, what has Nintendo's statement on this been? That's what I'm really interested in, because I'm
really curious. Maybe you should do some research and find out.
Oh, I
don't know. I feel like that might be asking you too much. But
this is what 3 years of journalism looks like, Jordan. This is what 3 years of university work has built up to.
Your uni work.
Okay, here it is. We're on Google. Nintendo statement on hacked.
We're wholly professional
accounts. This is more research than I've ever done on anything.
Including his 3 years of university.
Right. After gamers reported unauthorized login and purchases, Nintendo confirmed that over 160,000 accounts have been hacked. In a Friday statement, here's the statement. I don't even need to... Oh, no, it's a Japanese statement.
Well, that would probably be why, because it is a Japanese company.
You know, those two things usually do work in tandem. Nintendo said that attackers have been abusing its NNID, Nintendo Network ID legacy login system, since the beginning of April to hack. Oh Jesus! Since the beginning of April into the accounts. NNID was primarily used for the 3DS handhelds and Wii U consoles.
Yep.
Oh, so it's not the actual Switch accounts; it was the old Nintendo, Wii U, and 3DS accounts that were being hacked.
Well, surely their accounts would probably be the same.
I imagine they're probably linked, aren't they?
Yeah, you'd have one account with one credit card. So regardless of what.
Well, no, I bet you have two accounts, right?
Seek help.
You have two accounts, but what if the account to the NNID is linked to what the Switch has now?
Exactly. So I don't know. It's mad.
Yeah, because the NNID is now discontinued. Yeah. Oh no, the Wii U and 3DS. The NNID was primarily used for Nintendo 3DS. So what they hacked into the NNID can be linked to a Nintendo account and used as a login option. So people basically that had links to their old Wii U and 3DS accounts. Yeah, it's prime pickings. I'm amazed Nintendo didn't think about that, because they're not going to be. No one's going to be paying any attention to it because that was the old stuff.
Exactly.
Oh, that's bad.
Yeah, that is bad.
Makes you wonder why they didn't just keep the NNID.
That's really odd.
Mm.
Or because they just didn't want to have to upfront the cost for keeping it. I don't know.
Mm. But they create something.
That's crazy, man. Oh, I feel bad for all those guys affected by that.
Well, dude, that could be us. I haven't checked.
Well, it could be us. I haven't checked yet. I better go check after we finish.
Oh no! What £500 worth of DLC on Galga? How did this happen? Oh, my account was clearly hacked.
Jokes twat. Nice. Get original, Stan. At least talk about Galgun 2. Jeez.
I don't know. I don't even know if Galgun's on Switch.
I'm sure it is. There's so much trash on Nintendo.
You were about to say it was, and then you had to speak. You stopped a bit there and said, "Yeah, I'm sure it is."
It was. No, but you know how much trash is on that Nintendo eStore. Jeez, the amount of stuff they release on that.
I mean, to be fair, in terms of trash, Nintendo eStore's pretty bad. PlayStation's just slightly above. Then there's Steam.
Yeah,
and just nearly 80% of the content on Steam.
Probably, I'd say more close to 90% in reality. It's mad, isn't it, how much trash gets released on that?
It's mad, but like, God, it's great to just look up some older games. I love Steam.
It is. My housemates were talking about a game. What was it called? I cannot remember, but it was literally a game where she was describing it. She couldn't remember. I cannot remember the game. Let me know if anyone.
Let us know in the comments below.
Yeah, exactly. Of this awful description of the game I'm about to give.
Okay,
you
go.
Create a alien humanoid. You create a monster.
Okay.
And you build your own sort of farmland, and you raise this creature, and you get it to do cool tricks and stuff.
Is that Spawn? No, not Spawn.
No, but that's what I thought. But apparently it's a really old PlayStation 2 game. So yeah, that's all I can remember of what they said.
Is it
old stuff?
No, I'm thinking of Sega Dreamcast. Is it Seaman?
No.
Okay.
It's PlayStation 2.
Okay, it's not Seaman.
I can't remember what it was called.
I just want to just clarify, Seaman is an actual game on the Sega Dreamcast.
I thought you were just using it as an excuse to say that word in a non-derogatory context. But,
perhaps I saw an opportunity.
Perhaps you saw an opportunity to take it. Another cool thing that I just thought about is, didn't they announce a Destroy All Humans remake? Didn't they announce
Yeah, they did.
I'm super excited because that game was so good.
Yeah, no.
That was one of the best games I've ever played in my life.
Oh, Jordy, how's it going to feel to like? Okay, I got it on.
How's it going to feel when they remake it and make it awful? I don't know, but I'm going to find out.
Well, how's it going to feel when I say I've played it on PlayStation 4 and I'm going to be honest, I didn't like it that much. You've
upset quite a few people. True. Especially Ben. Ben would probably be quite upset.
Yeah, no, Ben loves it, and he really recommended it to me. Well, I gave it a go.
What did you like about it?
I don't know. The character movement was just quite sluggish. I didn't really feel like I had more to say. Oh, well, okay. Don't even let me finish the sentence about why I like it. Just ask me why I don't like it, and then just interrupt me. Cool. No, that's fine. I'm not allowed to not like games that you like, Geordie. I apologize for that. Jeez.
Yeah, exactly. God, get with the time, Stan. You're not allowed to dislike anything that is remotely has remote cult popularity.
Dude, imagine it. Yeah, there's a lot of spamming the same gun over and over again to beat all the enemies, which you complain about Devil May Cry and Bayonetta for, but they don't do that. So
No, I'm a filthy fanboy. So, which you are also that as well. So
I need to play more Destroy All Humans. I don't remember liking it that much.
No, I
feel like maybe if I get all the upgrades, maybe, because that's what I've been told. It gets way more fun when you have everything.
Yeah, it does. But yeah, other than that, I feel like that's pretty much all we have for today. You
know what? For the next podcast, I'm going to get...
Keeps my sanity in this turbulent time.
Yeah, no, it's an insane time. Look, I'm telling you, it's anyone listening at home, like, start your own podcast. It's fun.
Just do it. Yeah, absolutely. It gives you an excuse to talk to your friends without having to see them in real
life. Yeah, nice.
Which is always good, because during this time, you do not want to see people in real life. Unless you work in a supermarket like we do, in which case you don't have a choice.
Yeah, no choice. You are committed to having to look at the same people and have them complain about not having things. And it's like, well,
lovely.
I don't know what you want us to do there. Not really alike.
Basically, that is my reaction every time. Ask me why we don't have something. I don't know what you want me to do about it. Get over it. You shouldn't even be here. Why are you here with 5 other people? That's what I want to know. Why do people come out with 5 people as a family? It's like a family day out now, isn't it?
I had a whole family come to my till. Whole family come to my till.
You've probably got something, mate.
Oh, yeah, probably. I've accepted that. My existence is an illness upon humanity. So.
Your existence. To anyone listening, Stan's existence is definitely an illness, and we need your help. So support us on Patreon. We
don't have a Patreon.
No, we don't, but we will one day.
Well, okay, maybe one day.
If we ever take off, which we probably won't, but why would you want to listen to 2 guys who don't have anything better to do ramble about video games?
I mean, that's most podcasts.
That is pretty much 90% of podcasts, so why can't we do it?
Yeah, exactly. Dude, I'm going to have a nice animation set up. It'll be like a nice little thumbnail.
Cool. Yeah, I mean, you're putting all the work in, and I'll provide my charming charisma to the podcast.
So. So what you're saying is I'm putting all the work in.
A-level drama coming in handy, coming in hot.
Dude, that's like...
Yeah, if anyone wants to know, me and Stan here, we did A-level drama together, and he was very popular in the class. Let's just say that.
Okay, so we'll just throw more heat on me for no reason. Now just revealing my backstory and just insulting me for it. That's cool. That's fine.
No, but you did forget your lines a few times, even though you had the script up there with you. But that's besides the point.
No, that never happened. But that's
no, it did. You were sat on top of the stage, and all you had to do was read the lines they wrote, and you still got them wrong.
No, because okay, first of all, I have dyslexia, so actually reading I get lost on lines.
Oh, here we go.
But if you just want to throw your ableist nonsense at me for my actual disability, you can look it up. 2010 Disabilities Act. It counts. It definitely counts. It's definitely real.
True. You still couldn't read the lines, even though you had them.
Because I'm dyslexic. Like, what about that? Don't you get?
It's so bad of me to take the mick out of you for that.
Yeah, to take a mick out of my disability.
But no, honestly, this has actually been pretty cool. It's nice to actually have a chat.
Yeah, it's nice to insult someone else. Yeah, no, it's been a good time.
Yeah, it's been a good time, and we'll be doing it again next week, probably the same day, I'd imagine.
Yeah, let's do it. Yeah, that's great.
Yeah, why not? We'll have to think of. We'll have to make some plans next.
Plans, yep.
We'll try not to go into too many spoilers. Hopefully that didn't annoy too many people.
Yeah. Well, I mean, like I said, we'll just have a spoiler section so everyone can know. You know, this is the spoiler bit. You don't want to look at this bit. Stay away from this bit.
Stay away from it. You may as well not just watch, just not listen.
Yeah. Why were you listening to this in the first place? How did you get here?
What are you doing with your life? I mean, to be fair, there's probably not a lot you can be doing with your life.
Yeah, no. There's not a lot anyone's doing with their lives at the moment.
That's it.
Well, it was nice having you on, and we hope you listen to next week's podcast. Until then, stay safe and stay home, and have a lovely day. Bye.
Bye, guys.